This program is brought to you by Bridgestone, expert in winter tires.
Welcome to day 3 of our coverage of the Alpine Ski World Cup from Cortina-d'Ampecço. It's the second of the downhill races. I'm happy to report that the athletes are able to compete over the full-length course here in Cortina this morning. Apologies for our slightly tardy arrival. We've got here as quickly as possible. We've only missed 3. The current leader is Vicky Ravensburg of Germany, who started number 3. Nadia Fanchini is second, she started number 1, and Lorraine Ross is third, she started number 2. We're watching now Franzi Alftenblatten from Switzerland, the first of the Swiss to go, with bib number 4, 1700ths of a second adrift. This is the second of the double-header downhill event. Yesterday's race was won by Maria Herfel-Riesch. She's the favourite again today, starting with number 21. But of course, it's the full-length course. This is the course on which they trained midweek, where Giulia Mancuso set the quickest time, 1 minute 38.87. Let's compare that. It's about 20 seconds longer than the shortened downhill course that they used yesterday. They were forced to start just at the top of the Tofana just because of the overnight snow, which has all been cleared away. And as you can see, it's a perfect day in Cortina, and it's a good run too for Franzi Alftenblatten of Switzerland, who skis into second position. So look at the conditions here today in Cortina. Cortina corduroy underfoot, away from the race course, which is pretty firm and fast. Not a cloud in the sky. Perfect day for downhill racing, and the next athlete on the course, starting way up at 2,320 meters over the full length today of 2.6 kilometers, is Kasia Kling from Sweden. 10th in Thursday's Super G, 18th in yesterday's opening downhill. Now she comes diving at full speed down the Tofana, massive jump as she comes down between the 2 pillars of Dolomite rock. And look at the speed compared to yesterday. 1:32 through the gun there, compared to the early 1:20s over the shortened course yesterday. The extra 500 meters of distance and a couple hundred meters of vertical is giving them the extra speed to really hit the Tofana at full velocity. 134 there for Kasia Kling, 400ths ahead. Now she's 1800ths up, and her excellent season continues. Full of confidence. She's not totally au fait with the course like some of the more experienced racers here, but as the weekend goes on, she's getting more and more comfortable on the Olimpia della Tofana course, and she's had, as we know, solid downhill results already this season. 8th in Lake Louise with bib number 54 out of nowhere. 8th again in Val d'Isère. And green all the way here for Kling of Sweden. Into the final part of the course, the Romerio, the flat section where you need to just carry that speed through. The final roller, and it's the lead for Sweden's Kasia Kling by 0.28. That's a good run. She'll almost certainly, I think, hold on to a top 10 position today after that performance. Nice and early, easy on the edges, perfect visibility, and plenty of confidence. Now the first of the Austrians today is Stephanie Moser. Competition building to a climax when the announcement will be made in the early part of next week as to who will be traveling to Sochi at the end of the following week, or the beginning of the following week, after they've been to Kranjska Gora, which will take over the races, technical races, GS and slalom, originally scheduled for Maribor. They've been moved to Kranjska Gora within Slovenia. The Austrians will certainly leave a place or 2 open for anybody who might come through and score a surprise result in Kranjska Gora next weekend, but we'll get a good idea of the team heading to Sochi in the early part of next week. Stephanie Moser will be desperate to be a part of that, but 29th in Super G on Thursday and 21st in yesterday's downhill suggests that she still has work to do. Has to be quicker than Kling at the next intermediate, and she's not far away. 500ths of a second. Beautiful sweeping left-footed turn there for Kasia Kling. Incidentally, you may have seen yesterday's downhill and been shocked by the horrific fall suffered by Lizzie Gergel, and then amazed at how she bounced back up and skied on. Well, Gergel is returning to race action today, seemingly bruised but not perturbed, and she starts with bib number 8 in the second of the downhill races. Things going the wrong way as far as time is concerned here for Stephanie Moser. Kling's 1:38.78 is safe, and Moser is nearly half a second slower. So Kling leading for Sweden, Ravensburg second for Germany, Moser into third for Austria, with the fastest racers in the downhill rankings yet to come. Just to give you an idea of who starts where, the race really starts to hot up with number 8, Lizzie Gergel. Leanne Smith will be next. Gergel goes at 8. Julia Mancuso at 12. Stacey Cook 15, then Weirater, Gut, Kaufmann, Abderhalden, Marza, Fenninger, Herfel-Riesch, Fanchini, Elena Fanchini, and Marie Marchand-Avier will start with bib number 22. Leanne Smith is on the hill now for the United States of America. Didn't finish the Super G on Thursday. Did finish yesterday's downhill, but in a disappointing 25th position. Another finish yesterday after we'd gone off air for Shemi Alcott, so a couple of results to kickstart her career in the lead up to the Sochi Games for the British number 1. Hoping for an improvement today. I'm not sure we'll be able to stick around and watch Shemi come down with her late start number today in the 50s. She starts with bib number in the late 40s, 49 today, as we'll need to head over and catch up with the latest from the Luge World Cup before we adjourn to watch the spectacle of the Kitzbühel downhill. Leanne Smith struggling to maintain the pace of Kasia Kling here. Oh, and upper body twisted there. Big lean inside. She did well to stand up and ski away. 1:18.84 the next split, and she's a long way distant. 93.2 through this second speed go. 4 tenths behind. The course now flattens out, and the racers have to maintain the top position for as long as possible. And you see a couple of stand-up moments there for Leanne Smith, and she can't do anything about the leading time. And Smith skis into 5th position for the USA. So still Kasia Kling leading. Her time 1:38.78 is the benchmark at the moment. Elisabeth Gergel in the gate for Austria. Away she goes. Horrible crash yesterday. Hit the padded safety netting upside down, back first. It looked horrendous, but no sooner has she crashed as she picked herself up, put herself back on her feet, skied down and side-slipped the course on her way down to make it more competitive for the later starters. She's made of stern stuff, Lizzie Gergel, as she flies down the Tafarnaschuss. Wide stance, looking for good speed across the snow. 1:29.5, how's the time? It's good, 1/10 of a second. A little tail heavy on the landing of that jump, on the Duca d'Aosta jump. That's where she crashed yesterday, so through that section safely enough. Big right-footed turn, nice high line there for Lizzie Gergel. And look how she thrusts her hands forward when she gets in the tuck. Just looking for that wind tunnel aerodynamic efficiency. 22 hundredths behind, but I'm not going to write her off just yet, because we all know what Gergel is capable of. The winner of Thursday's Super G crashed in downhill yesterday. She'll have another chance to do the Super G double when we return for the final race of 4 tomorrow. And look at this, it's getting closer to the time of Kling, 600ths of a second. Gergel coming from behind to put pressure on the Swedish leader here. Oh, she stood tall there. That might have just cost her the chance to lead. Let's see if that mistake will come back to haunt her. 1:38.78. Oh, she's got it. 800ths of a second. 1:38.7. Lizzie Gergel's done it again and skis into 1st position in Cortina-d'Ampezzo on day 3. Mixed bag. The win on Thursday, the crash on Friday, the lead provisionally on Saturday. And the Austrian challenge continues immediately in the shape of young Regina Sterz. Still borderline for Olympic inclusion. had a decent result on Thursday, 15th in the Super G. Improved 2 places in yesterday's downhill. Finished 13th. Has to be careful not to just try too hard and push too robustly on this downhill course. What a sight that is as they come plunging down the Tafarnassus, and Sterz has got massive speed through the gun, 132.2. That's a key turn, and I think she went a little wide on landing. Finished 14th in the last Olympic downhill in 2010, but is yet to be sure of inclusion in the squad to go to Sochi. But this is more promising from Regina Sterz. One little mistake, apart from that, everything has gone pretty solidly for the Austrian. Now then, this next split, compared to Lizzie Gergel, her teammate's time, how close is Sterz? A quarter of a second behind. Might just be good enough for 3rd position provisionally. Remember how fast Gergel was on the final third of the Olympia della Tofana. Same mistake for Sterz on that roller. Upper body thrown backwards over the tails of the skis. Sets in for the line and skis into 3rd position. A quarter of a second behind. Austria 1st and 3rd, with Kasia Kling of Sweden splitting them. But it's Lizzie Gergel who leads at the moment. Stephanie Moser in 3rd provisionally, with the fastest racers in World Cup downhill at the moment yet to come. And this is Nadia England-Karma from Switzerland. Big, powerful racer, using her full married name. 5th in Lake Louise at the start of the season. Promising result there for Nadia England-Karma. Now then, approaching the entrance to the Tafarnassus, we'll get a check on her speed across the snow. Minimum air time on that top jump. The big jump, the Duca d'Aosta, coming up here. 130.9, huge height, 400ths of a second faster. Good top section. Has the bulk to pick up speed. That's a nice turn as well. The aerial maneuver. Switching the skis from to the left of the lower body to the right of the lower body, landing the edges in the snow and continuing the carved turn on the exit. Spectacular stuff, executed with exhibition style precision there from Nadia England-Karma. Nice and high. This is a good racing line from the Swiss. Oh, that wasn't quite so clever though. Ran a little late in the line, had to put the brakes on. Has that cost her the chance to get close to Lizzie Gergel's time? It has. 6/10 behind. 96 through the speed gun. That's fast. But as we know, it's not all about speed. Combined with the ideal racing line, the ability to glide where required, all the downhill elements come into play, particularly on a day like this. Perfect visibility, the full-length course. England-Karma into 5th. Found a little bit. A 10th and a 1500ths, in fact, on the bottom part of the course, but only good enough for 5th. Gergel, Kling, Sterz, the 1, 2, 3 in Cortina. Carolina Ruiz Castillo is away for Spain. Coached by Mark Tilston from Scotland. Had her first World Cup win in Maribel last spring on the Olympic Roc de Fer course there. Great celebrations, the first ever World Cup downhill win for Spain. They've had giant slalom technical success in the past, but she broke the downhill duck just under a year ago. And here she comes to the bottom of the Tafarnassus, looking to get close to Lizzie Gergel's time, and she is close. She's quicker. 131.6 through the gun, 1200ths faster at the intermediate for Carolina Ruiz Castillo. Just half a meter offline on that left-footed and that right-footed turn. But I don't think it's done significant damage. 22nd yesterday. 30th in Thursday's Super G. 1500ths behind at intermediate number 2. Ruiz Castillo needs to watch this little lump here. A few have been caught out. Keeps the tuck position, then gets airborne momentarily. There's another tricky section coming up as well, where a few have had their knees thrown straight and been chucked up into the air. That's a nice jump from Ruiz Castillo. Might be able to claw back a 10th or 2. Will she beat 138.7? I don't think so, but it's not far away. It's 5th. 4/10ths behind. Ruiz Castillo with another solid run. Lizzie Gergel leads. Kasia Kling 2nd. Regina Stertz 3rd. Still the big guns to come. Starting with the next racer on the hill, Giulia Mancuso. Fastest in training on Wednesday. The full-length course is what she prefers to race. Has been a winner in Cortina in the past in Super G. Can she add a downhill win today? Her training time, her fastest training time midweek, 1 minute 38.87 compared to 1 minute 38.7 for Lizzie Gergel today. So pretty evenly matched. And Mancuso stood tall at the end of that training run, as they often do, just not to give the opposition too many clues. This looks like a promising start for Giulia Mancuso, and that's reflected in the clock. 1600ths of a second up. Good stuff from Mancuso. Beautiful aerial turn there. Lovely maneuver from the Californian. This is good work from Mancuso. Has made adjustments to her equipment. Wasn't happy at the start of the season, but things have come right here in Cortina on her return to World Cup racing, and still green for the American. 9th yesterday in downhill, 7th in Super G on Thursday. Hoping to put some pressure on Lizzie Gergel here. Mancuso looks for the tuck again. Nice and smooth. Eating up the yardage here. And still in front. High line, good speed. Higher than just about anybody on that change of terrain. Green all the way for Giulia Mancuso. Has to watch this next little lump here. Beautifully done. Just managed to squash the jump with great anticipation. And Lizzie Gergel's time is under threat from Mancuso, who takes first position by a 1/4 of a second. Giulia Mancuso leads the way in Cortina. 1 minute 38.42. Faster than she achieved in training, and good enough for first position. Nothing wrong with this run. Back to the top, and it's the best of the Italians potentially now. Daniela Marighetti. Oh, she's in trouble early on. Unable to keep that inside edge of that left ski biting into the snow, and she lost a bit of gravity. So, into the Tafana-Schuss. Marighetti leaps off the top, plunges down, and flies the Duke d'Aosta jump here, but the early mistake has cost her. 0.38 behind. Marighetti, best of the Italians yesterday in 8th position, 12th in Thursday's Super G. Her only ever World Cup win came right here in Cortina in 2012 in downhill, but she's looking unlikely to back it up today. One more chance tomorrow, Super G, the 4th and final race before they decamp to Kranjska Gora for next weekend's technical races, and then off to Russia for those who get the nod from their federations. Marighetti will certainly be on the list of Italian athletes as the best of the female downhillers, but hasn't really happened for her today. And 0.78 behind, she might struggle to make the top 8 here. Hasn't been a totally confident run from Daniela Marighetti, and Giulia Mancuso's time is safe. Marighetti is 10th, 9/10ths of a second behind. Early mistake, and it just cost her the time right at the top of the course. '14, back with the Swiss, Dominique Gizin. 12th yesterday, 10th on Thursday. Gizin from Engelberg. Had a good start to the season with an 8th and a 7th in Lake Louise and Val d'Isère. Lara Gut was the best of the Swiss yesterday, finished in 4th position. It was Herfel-Riesch first, Weierrater second, and then Nicole Schmidhofer. After we'd gone off air, Nicole Schmidhofer came through to take 3rd position for Austria with bib number 39. Followed by Lara Gut in 4th, Stacey Cook was 5th, then Fenninger, Mars and Merighetti, Mancuso and Fischbacher. That's the way the top 10 ended up yesterday, just to keep you totally up to speed, because we weren't able to stay for too long for Friday's downhill. Let's see how Gizin is faring here compared to Mancuso's time. She's had an excellent middle section, 1300ths behind at intermediate number 1. By intermediate number 2, she's back in front, 600ths of a second quicker than Julia Mancuso. Dominique Gizin, 5th in the World Championships back in 2007, the highlight really of her career. Still looking to really find her best form, and she's toing and froing between Mancuso's time, either side of Mancuso's time. In front, then behind, but not by much. Can Gizin ski cleanly on the bottom part of the course to lead? Not quite. 400ths of a second, that is tight. Mancuso holds on. Gizin skis 2nd, Gergel drops to 3rd. Beginning to hot up here in Cortina. What a great jump from Dominique Gizin. And it's Stacey Cook's turn now for the USA. Charge it was the instruction from the start hut behind her as she went pushing out of the gate. Big crowd gathered on that corner to watch them approach the legendary Tafana Schuss. That was a little shaky there for Stacey Cook, who was 5th on the shortened course yesterday. An extra 20 seconds to ski this morning. Down the Tafana Schuss, shade and then sunshine. Then we'll get a check on her speed and her intermediate time. The speed is fast, 1:33.4, but that early mistake has put her behind teammate Mancuso by 1/4 of a second. Best of the Americans on day 1 yesterday in 5th position. Can she back it up with another top 10? It has to be clean from here on in. That's a good early turn. Might have just managed to get closer to Mancuso's time. Yes, she has. 500ths behind. Good work from Stacey Cook in the middle part of the course. One Californian leads the way, Julia Mancuso. Another one from Mammoth Mountain is on the hill here. Can she produce a mammoth performance to overhaul Julia Mancuso's time on the bottom half of the Olympia course here? She's going close, 1800ths, 95 through the 2nd speed trap. Good work from Stacey Cook. We could well have an American 1-2 here. In the absence of Lindsey Vonn, who's just undergone knee surgery again, the Americans proving that they've got plenty of depth. And Stacey Cook has gone first. It's a 1-2 for the USA. Cook takes the lead. Mancuso goes 2nd. Terrific stuff for the Americans after their sluggish, disappointing start to the season. They're all over the top 10s here in Cortina this weekend. Well, a mistake in the first part of the course right here, but then she clawed it back with some daring turns, taking a few risks, getting the angles low, getting the turns early, and putting herself into 1st position by 700ths to Julia Mancuso, with Dominique Gizin 3rd, then Gergel, then Kling, followed by Stertz, Ravensburg and Ruiz Castillo, with the best of them yet to come. Tina Weierrater will be next to go for Liechtenstein. Final gulp of mineral water for Weierrater. Getting ready to race. Those who have done their work already, watching on the big screen and on the scoreboard. They've watched the new leader, Stacey Cook, take her position in the leaders' enclosure, but now all eyes will be on Tina Weierrater, the 2nd best downhiller of the season. 3 second places in downhill races so far in the 2014 season. She's had 2 wins, one in Super G and one in Giant Slalom, but she'll be desperate to get the better of the rest of the field. That isn't a great start, though, from Vairata. Had to lean into that turn. Now, can she compose herself? It's not lost, only in the first 15 seconds of the downhill, but she didn't make life very easy for herself. Let's see how she cuts the speed gun. Oh, big jump, 132 through the speed trap. So maybe that was a racing line of choice at the top for Tina Vairata. Maybe that was planned. It didn't look like it was a clean execution, but no matter. She has the quickest time, 0.28, faster than Stacey Cook and getting quicker all the time. Tina Vairata, we know her downhill atomic skis are fast, and she's got plenty of resources behind her as the new star of the Liechtenstein team, racing and training alongside the Swiss team. Great hopes for her heading to Sochi. Remember, her mum and uncle and father, all Olympians themselves, all World Cup winners. Comes from a great racing pedigree, and it's green all the way for Tina Vairata. Second behind Maria Herfel-Riesch yesterday. 4th in Thursday's Super G. Looking for the lead on downhill day here in Cortina. On the Saturday, and she's got it. Vairata's skied a blinder. 1800ths faster than Stacey Cook, and the lead in Cortina. Well, a little mistake at the top, had to adjust. Maybe that racing line helped her, and what about that for a jump? On the angle. Beautifully done. At 130 kilometers per hour, let's not forget the speed at which she flies through the air. Lara Gut is next to go. Great friend and training partner of Tina Vairata. Had a good run yesterday to finish in 4th, just off the podium, 19th in Thursday's Super G. This is when she'll really hope to shine. This is downhill day proper in Cortina, the full length, bright sunshine, a chance for Lara Gut to really make her mark heading in towards the Olympic Winter Games in Sochi. She falls down the Tafarnaschus. 130, here's the jump, the Duca d'Aosta. Beautiful flight, 1900 slower than Tina Vairata. Good turn, nice and early. Excellent work so far for Lara Gut. Can she match Tina Vairata at the next intermediate? The winner in Beaver Creek also won the Super G there and the Super G in Lake Louise, and for good measure she won the first GS of the season at the end of October in Solden. But things are not going totally according to plan here. This course could be just a little flat, a little wide, a little soft for Lara Gut, who really excelled in Beaver Creek at the start of the season when it was firm and tight. 1600ths, she's closed the gap. Now, can she close it further? This little lump here has caught a few out. Gut takes it perfectly. No one's been better than that on that little roller. Didn't move from the tuck position. That might just give her the chance to lead. Oh, not quite. 4/10 separating the top 5. Good run, but not quite solid enough for Lara Gut. Tina Vairata first, Stacey Cook second, Julia Mancuso third, then Gizin, and now Gut in 5th. Lizzie Gergel drops to 6th. Still to come. Coming up next, Kaufmann Abderhalden, the winner in Val d'Isère, then Tina Maser, then Anna Fenninger, then Maria Herfel-Riesch. Marianne Kaufmann Abderhalden had her first World Cup win in Val d'Isère on the 21st of December. Has also been on the podium in Lake Louise, was 8th in Alta Zalkensee last time out. Through the first 15 seconds on the extended full-length course. Good aggressive racing line from Kaufmann Abderhalden, who finished 14th yesterday on the shortened course. Now she comes charging down the Tafarnaschus. 1:33.5, massive speed, and right in there as well on the time. 400ths behind Tina Weirarter. Kaufmann-Abderhalden gives herself a real chance. That was a beautiful turn. Exceptional, carved, high-speed downhill racing turn there from Marianne Kaufmann-Abderhalden. Has she got the reward? No, it's gone the other way, but we've seen a couple of them fight back from half a second down and find time on the bottom part of the course. Kaufmann-Abderhalden is good on the flats. She's a good glider, so she might be able to find a couple of tenths here and give herself a shot at a top 5 place. It all depends on this intermediate time here. And she's right back in the groove. 99 through the gun. 0.09 of a second behind Tina Weirarter. Onto the flats now. Stands tall just for a split second. Then carves in the next left-footed turn and flies off the final roller. Oh, she's got it. What a finish from Kaufmann-Abderhalden. From half a second down to 0.11 in front to lead the way in Cortina. Weirarter demoted to second, Stacey Cook goes third. And the new leader is Marianne Kaufmann-Abderhalden of Switzerland. Well, we knew she was good on the flats. She proved that with that win in Val d'Isère on the OK, and the Swiss coaches celebrate. Tina Maza now for Slovenia, number 19, still without a World Cup win so far this season. With a new coach now. Let's see how she goes on the full-length downhill course. Set the 14th quickest time in training midweek. Had a promising 7th position yesterday. Slightly better on Thursday in Super G. She was 6th there. Tina Maza carrying good speed on the Tafarnaschuss. 1:30.3, so that's 3 kilometers per hour slower through the speed trap than Marianne Kaufmann-Abderhalden, but 1/1600ths faster on the clock. That was a lovely turn from Tina Maza. Slightly earlier takeoff. Great adjustment mid-air, and Tina Maza's got everything right so far. Now 57.03 the next split, and Maza's 0.6 quicker. Everything's going according to plan. Now remember, at that point, Kaufmann-Abderhalden was behind by half a second. Found great speed on the flats, her speciality. Can Tina Maza get the gliding right here in Cortina and put pressure on Kaufmann-Abderhalden's time? Here we go, next split, still half a second in front. Slower across the snow in terms of kilometers per hour than Kaufmann-Abderhalden, but with an ideal racing line. Nice and easy on her edges. Sets up for the final 200 meters and skis into first position. Maza hits her best form just in time for the Olympic Winter Games and leads the way in Cortina. Kaufmann-Abderhalden down in second now. Tina Weirarter goes third. Maria Herfelriesch still to come. Number 20 in the gate, Anna Fenninger. Can she produce some of her best downhill racing now? Out she goes. Typically aggressive push and shove from the gate from Anna Fenninger. Oh, a little hand down there, shouldn't matter too much. Now then, her form so far this weekend has been solid. 6th yesterday, 5th in Super G on Thursday. Would dearly love to produce something to push her confidence towards its peak heading into the Olympic Winter Games. This is the medal that matters most, of course, to the speed racers, the Olympic downhill gold. Fenninger, 0.59 off the pace. Good turn there. Traveling really smoothly through this section known as the Stratofana, this section of high speed sweeping right and left turns. Now they come down towards the Scarpadon. Fenninger trails Marza by 7/10 of a second. 5th in Beaver Creek, 4th and 3rd in Lake Louise, runner-up in Altenmark, 6th yesterday. Consistent, if unspectacular, downhill form so far this season for Fenninger. Her only World Cup win has come in giant slalom in Lienz, and her Super G form has been consistent as well. 4 visits to the World Cup podium. I think she's left herself too much to do here, though. 0.64 behind. 1:37.79 looks safe enough, and it's 4th for Fenninger. That's all right, another solid run. For anybody else, of course, that might be a brilliant result, but for Fenninger's high standards, she's come here for the win, and 4th isn't good enough. She'll be heading to Sochi, and she'll almost certainly compete in downhill Super G giant slalom, and maybe in the Super Combined as well. Maria Herfel-Riesch, the leader in the World Cup downhill standings, the leader in the World Cup overall standings, the best all-round skier of the season so far. Let's see what she's got on the full length downhill in Cortina. Nobody's ever done the double here in downhill. A few have done the double Super G. Renate Goetschel, for example. Goetschel won 3 out of 4. The last time there were 4 races here in 2005, Goetschel won 3 out of 4 and was second in the other. But no one's ever done the double downhill in Cortina. Can Herfel-Riesch rewrite the record books today? She's got work to do. It wasn't a great start. A slightly less confident beginning to her downhill run than we saw yesterday, and that was a little cautious. Her upper body doesn't seem to be as relaxed as it was 24 hours ago, and there's a marked difference in the speed across the snow. Half a second behind. Herfel-Riesch spent time in the summer boosting her physical capacity, trained with Heinrich Bergmüller, who for several years was the physical coach for the great Hermann Maier, so he knows what he's doing. He's done his best to help Maria Herfel-Riesch build up her physical strength. Naturally, she's tall and slim, but she's added great muscle bulk in the last 12 months. The downhill double is looking less likely. 8/10 behind, and Tina Marza may well be on course to at last win her first World Cup of the season. 4th in the end for Herfel-Riesch. That's a pretty good result. Yeah, she can shrug her shoulders and say that's all right. The family are here again. They will enjoy that. Happy that she's down safely, of course, and staying out of trouble with the Olympics just around the corner. No downhill double, and the mistakes came early on for Maria Herfel-Riesch. Brakes were on in the first 15 seconds. Elena Fanchini next to go for Italy, number 22. The Italians with no success so far this weekend in Cortina. Daniela Merighetti, the only other Italian to race so far this morning, is down in 18th position at the moment. Tina Marza leads. Marianne Kaufmann-Abderhalden is second. Tina Weierarter third. Maria Herfel-Riesch is 4th. Anna Fenninger holds 5th at the moment. Down the Tofana Schuss comes Elena Fanchini. Fearless. But how fast is she? 129. It's not fast enough compared to 135, I think, is the top speed we've seen at the bottom of the Tofana Schuss. Nice move there. What a day it is, looking down from the top of the Olympia down into gorgeous Cortina, which is the most idyllic, picturesque mountain village you could imagine. And with the fresh snow on the tops of the trees and all around the village, it makes for a picture postcard scene. Bidding to host the 2019 Alpine Skiing World Championships. 92.4, Elena Fanchini not having a good weekend. in the back of her mind and that of her coaches as well. It applies to both the Fanchini sisters, because they can be a little gung-ho in their approach sometimes. They'll be thinking about the Olympic Games, staying healthy, avoiding the safety netting, and another injury. And Fanchini, well, she's miles away. 1.96 seconds off the pace. So, the big smile on the face of Tina Maze, who is heading towards potentially her first World Cup win of the season, ahead of Marianne Kaufmann Abderhalden, a quarter of a second slower in second, with Tina Vairata in third. We'll take a break. We'll have more on the other side from Cortina. Welcome back to Cortina-d'Ampecцо. No change here, you haven't missed a thing. The next of the racers in the start hut is Marie Marchand-Arvier, who's got a lot of history here in Cortina-d'Ampecцo. Had her first World Cup start here 10 years ago, almost exactly 10 years ago, on the 14th of January 2004. Scored her first World Cup points here the following year, on the 15th of January 2005, when she was second in a World Cup downhill, and her first World Cup podium was also in Cortina-d'Ampecцo in 2007. Happy memories of the Olympia della Tofana for the best French downhiller currently operating, in the absence of the injured downhill champion of the world, Marion Rolland. Marchand-Arvier, 4/10 of a second behind at the first intermediate. '29th here yesterday, 24th in Super G on Thursday. Nearly a second off the pace. Marchand-Arvier not having the best of times here so far. A little stiff and uncommitted in her upper body posture. .95 through the speed gun. Pretty fast across the snow, but look at the time difference now. 1.64 seconds. Looking down through the start list, who can challenge Tina Maze now? Well, maybe Johanna. About selection for the Austrians, the Swiss, the Americans, maybe the Italians as well, because it's horses for courses in downhill, and the Sochi course may suit some and not others, so they might use the final training run. We've seen it many times before, particularly with the Austrians. They'll say, okay, there are 7 of you here, here's the final training run, treat it as a ski off. First 4 times will race in the downhill, the Olympic downhill. Seems a very straightforward and simple plan. Of course, it involves a lot of logistics to get the extra races there. Of course, the Austrians have the resources to do that, as do the Swiss and the Americans. Less so possibly the Italians, we'll see. 94.6 across the snow for Verena Stuffer. Going nicely, actually, within 6/10 of the lead. There's a chance of another top 10 for Stuffer here. The Italians will be looking towards the next racer on the hill, Johanna Schnaaf, to give them a real crack at maybe breaking the top 5. Can Stuffer break the top 10? 12th in the end. Exactly a second slower than Tina Maze, but that's okay. So now Johanna Schnarf is ready to race in Cortina. Second fastest behind Giulia Mancuso in Wednesday's training run, which was held over the full-length course. Her time there just 600 slower than Mancuso, 1 minute 38.93. The same time today would only be good enough for 12th position. But of course, conditions are much more favourable today. Bright blue skies, not a breath of wind, a perfect downhill day. And look at the Tafarnasjus, bathed in powder snow with the giant pillars of Dolomite rock rising at either side of the hill. And look at this from Schnarf, backing up that training result on Wednesday. That's a good turn. Beautiful, brave flight from Johanna Schnarf. Now this would not be a shock, but it would be a thrill for the Italian supporters if Schnarf could put pressure on Tina Maza here, and she's still in touch, 1800ths behind. Good commitment to the lower part of the course from Johanna Schnarf. Has been on the podium in the past, but her last visit to the World Cup podium was back in 2010. She's had a couple of injuries to deal with. Next split, which way is it going? Still in touch, half a second behind. Considerably slower than than Tina Weirater, who was fastest through that second speed gun, slower by about 9 kilometers per hour. But this has been a good run. Off the final jump, and Johanna Schnarf is 10th, within a second of the lead. Top 10 for Johanna Schnarf. That makes her the best of the Italians on downhill day in Cortina. What a terrific turn that was. '26 coming out of the start gate is Cornelia Hutter. Cracking start to the season for her. Lake Louise, the second of the two downhills there in North America. She posted the 7th quickest time with bib number 35, and then backed it up with a place on the podium behind Marianne Kaufmann Abderhalden in Val d'Isère on the OK course. Third there, her first ever podium, 21 years of age. Not certain of Olympic selection just yet. 23rd yesterday, 23rd as well in Thursday's Super G. That's a decent looking turn from Cornelia Hutter. Took it a little earlier than most. Now then, this next intermediate time is again promising for Cornelia Hutter. The Austrians haven't had it all their own way here today so far. Anna Fenninger is 5th. Lizzie Gergel, the next of the Austrians, down in 11th. If Cornelia Hutter could get between the two of them, then that would be good for her Olympic prospects. 1.09, long way back now. And the top 10 are separated by less than 9/10 of a second. It's a pretty tight bunch within the top 10 here. Lots of Austrian supporters. The sirens are sounding now for the arrival of Cornelia Hutter, who's 14th. Probably her best result of the weekend, but not as good as she would have hoped. Now next to come will be Nicole Schmidhofer, who came from a late start number yesterday to finish on the podium in 3rd. Came from the late 30s yesterday. Bit of a surprise on the shortened course. There were no clues from training earlier in the week that Schmidhofer was going to really cause a shock yesterday, but that's what happened. Now, can she back it up on the full-length Cortina course? So far, nothing wrong with this. 34.27 for Maza. Schmidhofer hits the Aosta jump half a second slower, almost. Tina Maza leads. Marianne Kaufmann Abderhalden 2nd. Tina Vierata third, then Herfel-Riesch and Feniger, with Cook and Mancuso of the USA currently holding 5th and 6th. First World Cup podium came in Cortina in Super G in 2013 for Nicole Schmidhofer. Backed it up with a downhill visit to the podium here yesterday, and another opportunity breaking the top 10 over the full-length course. It's a pretty solid run for Nicole Schmidhofer, and she is 9th. The selectors cannot ignore Nicole Schmidhofer. 3rd yesterday, 9th today. Surely a trip to Sochi beckons now. And she's delighted with that. Cortina, obviously a decent resort for her in the past. Tina Marza, the one who's celebrating at the moment, still holding the lead, but there'll be a few coming from later on the start list who will be relishing the chance to race in perfect visibility with nice, breathless conditions and make an assault on the top 5, maybe even a visit to the podium. We saw it yesterday with bib number 39 with Schmidhofer. Let's see if one of these later starters can produce another surprise. This is Lottie Sejersted from Norway. Good speed, 1:33.8. Good time as well. Sejersted, 800ths off the pace. Here we go. Starting to warm up again. Sejersted, we know, can produce good results from late start numbers. She did it in Val d'Isère with 5th position, bib number 37. In the top 10 again in Altamart Zalkensee, 9th there. And she's still in the hunt in Cortina. Sejersted, all getting a bit bounced around in the shaded area, struggling to adjust her vision to the sudden patches of dark and light. 1:18.22, the next split for Tina Marza. How close is Sejersted? As she hits the next jump, she's 8/10ths behind. Couple of little stand-ups, opening her body up to the wind and slowing herself down. 1:37.79. That's the fastest time, possibly the winning time. 11th again for Sejersted. Another solid result within 9/10ths of Tina Marza's time. Encouraging and much better than yesterday. Another beautiful slow motion look at that jump at 133 kilometers per hour. Andrea Fischbacher showed a return to form yesterday in 10th in the first downhill on the shortened distance. Let's see how she goes on the full Monty. Coaches must be scratching their heads, wondering what to do about Andrea Fischbacher. She's proved herself as an Olympic challenger. She won Austria's only gold medal in Whistler in alpine skiing. That was in the Olympic Super G, February 2010. She can't be ignored, but her form is erratic. You never know what you're going to get with Fischbacher. There was an encouraging 10th position yesterday, but the only other top 10 came right at the start of the season in Beaver Creek, 8th there. This isn't bad, 0.65. Pretty robust skiing again from Andrea Fischbacher. It can be a bit flaky at times. Barely anyone with more DNFs than her, maybe one of the Fanchini sisters. Three-quarters of a second off. (1:37.79). Fischbacher's not far away. 0.86, 1:38.65. 10th yesterday, 11th today. Getting better for Fischbacher, the Olympic Super G champion, makes a real case for another Olympic selection. Fabienne Suter starts with number 30 now for Switzerland. So Fabienne Suter starting last of the first group of 30. 24th yesterday, way off the pace. Scruffy looking landing on that jump. But does that hide hidden speed? No, look at that, 1:27. Well, this isn't right for Fabienne Suter. She's about 7 kilometers per hour slower than the fastest racers on that part of the course. One and a half seconds off the pace now. Well, I can just put this down, I guess, to caution on the part of Fabienne Suter. Super G is her best discipline, but she's yet to really find her top form in that. Maybe tomorrow, the last of our quartet of races in Cortina. Cortina Quartet, yes. It's got a ring to it, hasn't it? Fabienne Suter is down in 29th position. Just about the slowest of the lot so far today. 2 seconds between first and 29th. So there we are. Those three will be on the World Cup podium unless there's a late change. And they are Tina Maser in the middle in green. On the left, Marianne Kaufmann-Abderhalden in yellow. And on the right, Tina Weierate, who's third for Liechtenstein in red. Maria Herfel-Riesch is next, yesterday's winner, followed by Fenninger, Cook, Mancuso, Gizin, Schmidhofer and Lara Gut. A cosmopolitan-looking leaderboard here, with Fischbacher in 11th, following yesterday's 10th, and Lotte Sejersted for Norway in 12th position. But for the moment, it looks like it's Tina Maser's first win of the season. So this is how they stand at the moment. Tina Weierate in third for Liechtenstein, continuing her best ever World Cup season. In second place, Val d'Isère's downhill winner, Marianne Kaufmann-Abderhalden from Switzerland. Tina Maser has shown great promise so far this season, and now she is on the cusp of, at last, registering her first World Cup win. Nicole Hosp is on the course for Austria and having an excellent run so far. 0.26 behind Tina Maser at the intermediate and still within half a second. Third on the podium in Thursday's Super G. Lost her form in Friday's shortened downhill and lost her form there as well. Bit of freestyle downhill there from Nicole Hosp, and she'll just ease off the throttle now. She's done enough to make the trip to Russia for the Olympic Winter Games. Doesn't need to take a risk, has had too many injuries in the past. But the 30-year-old Austrian is enjoying a bumper season. Fifth in the outer mark downhill. Sixth in the Flachau slalom, third in the Cortina Super G. She's got it all going on across the disciplines. 19th today. There we go, inside ski turn. Good work. Priska Nufa from Switzerland starts with number 33. Out of the points yesterday in 37th position. Getting another World Cup start today, 21 years of age. It's only her 13th ever World Cup start, the 21-year-old, so learning the ropes. And clearly well regarded by the Swiss coaches and selectors. .94.9 through that second speed trap, more than 2 seconds down. So she could end up being the slowest of them all. Everyone's finished today. Ragnhild Mowinckel choosing not to start, number 32 for Norway. All those who have started have finished, and Prishkanufa is the slowest of the lot, I'm afraid. 2.5 seconds down. Klara Kritsova of the Czech Republic. Now, she was very, very excited when she crossed the finishing line yesterday, Kritsova. Setting up her best, one of her best ever results, 26 in the World Cup points. That's what really matters. .2 seconds off the pace. Kritsova staying within a respectable margin from Tina Maze, who looks unstoppable now in top position, unless there's a late surge from one of the racers starting in the 40s or 50s. Shemi Alcott due to go at number 49. I'm not sure we're going to get a chance to stay and see her come down, unfortunately. Francesca Marsaglia is away. Number 35 for Italy. Marsaglia, 23 years of age, scored points in Super G on Thursday. Ended up in 20th, and outside of the points yesterday in downhill, 35th. So Marsaglia will be the last one we'll see live. Well, this is the plan at the moment. We're going to take a break, then we'll return and have another look at Tina Maze's career, season-defining run to set up her first World Cup win of the 2014 campaign. Just in time for the Olympics. Change of coach has clearly worked wonders for Tina Maze. And Marsaglia is 32nd out of the points again. After that, we will give you a full roundup of the winter sports program across the Eurosport platform, and then we'll take our leave from Cortina. So let's have a look back at the winning run on downhill day, on the full downhill course on the Olimpia della Tofana for Tina Maze of Slovenia. This is how she set about taking top spot here, wearing bib number 90. Still without a World Cup win this season, having broken all the records last year with the maximum number of World Cup points scored, along with all the medals from the Alpine Skiing World Championships last February in Schladming. Not a spectacular start to the season, but she said to herself, it's very difficult when you've had so much success in one season to come back at the same level at the start of the next, especially with such a huge gap in the year between the end of one ski racing season and the start of the next. You know, people say, oh, it's a long season. Well, it isn't. It starts in December, effectively, with a couple of races in October and November, but effectively it starts in December, it ends in the middle of March. It's not a long season, and there is a huge amount of the year when there's no World Cup ski racing going on. This was Tina Maze's run today, which might just kickstart her campaign, and the timing could end up being perfect. She might head to Sochi with renewed confidence and enthusiasm. Just changed her coach and has employed the services of Mauro Pini, who was formerly looking after Lara Gut, and before that with Maria Jose Rienda Contreras, the Spanish giant slalom specialist. And that combination, in conjunction with her manager, who's also her partner, Andrea Massi, has clearly provided extra renewed confidence for Tina Maza, and she will leave Cortina heading to home snow in Kranjska Gora next weekend in fine fettle, with her confidence at a season-long high. Wouldn't put it past her being on the podium in GS and slalom in Kranjska Gora next weekend. The races, incidentally, have been moved to Kranjska from snowless Maribor. So the way it looks at the moment, with a few races still coming down the hill, is Tina Weirater is in third, with Marianne Kaufmann Abderhalden second, and Tina Maza in first. We've got one more installment to come. It'll be on Eurosport 2 at midday tomorrow, the last of the Cortina quartet, the Super G. Hope you'll be able to join me for that, and join my colleagues around the ice and snow today. And this is what we've got coming up for you on the winter sports menu. We'll be joining Colin Bryce for the doubles first run from Sigulda in Latvia. Then it's Nordic combined in Oberstdorf with Patrick. Freestyle skiing with Ian Finley at 2:30. Kreisberg for the ski cross. The second part of the Nordic combined at 3:30. These are all Central European time, so an hour earlier for those of you in the United Kingdom and Portugal and the Republic of Ireland. So a great day for Tina Maza in beautiful Cortina-d'Ampezzo. Thank you for your company. Enjoy Kitzbühel over on Eurosport 1. Bye for now.